There are days where you need a drink, and then there are days where you need a lemon, or maybe a lemon-themed drink. Which brings us to longtime veteran journalist, host, anchor, author, Emmy winner, Don Lemon. He hosts the Don Lemon Show, which streams on YouTube and podcast platforms. And he's here for his book, I Once Was Lost, My Search for God in America. Welcome back.
Thank you. You know, I had a book before that. It's called This is the Fire, where I talk about a lot of the stuff that's happening now as well.
A double book plug.
A double.
We recognize the hustle.
You got to get it in when you can, man. How are you?
You know what Hope said. Don't knock the hustle. Okay? I want to do the shutdown with you briefly. It's not our lead story because best we can tell, shutdowns usually get worked out.
Yeah.
But you have Schumer and Jeffries, the headlines say, facing a leadership test because it's about what are you fighting for? They say health care. NBC saying House Democratic Caucus is relishing in the shutdown swagger from Leader Jeffries, giving him a pair of standing ovations. I think we have this. But some Democrats nervous Schumer may cave. Is this the same rerun? And is it good that Democrats say they actually have a thing, health care, that they're fighting for, keeping it affordable, rather than just complaining about Trump?
I think that Democrats have been very strategic and staying on message with this one to focus it on health care, because health care, what they want, you know, they're asking for to keep the Obama, the ACA tax credits. That helps not only Democrats, that helps Republicans. That helps everyone.
Anybody.
Every politician in America should want every single American to have affordable health care. So I think the Democrats are playing it right this time. And I think it's tough for Republicans to say this is a Democrat's fault when they're in charge of every single lever of government. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. Trump puts up these attacks. He put up a video. We're not going to show the whole video. For context, I'm just going to show the image, which is this.
Okay, can I say something for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
You said that usually get worked out. I think you're right. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But I think that you're right. They usually get worked out. But I think this time, the base of the Democratic Party wants the Democrats to fight back. This is
fight to the end, yeah.
They want them to fight to the end. And this is kind of a fight for the soul of the Democratic Party. So I think that they're between a rock and a hard place on that part of it, whether they come up with some sort of compromise or maybe 10 days, as Chuck Schumer was saying, or whether they just say, shut it down. That's going to be a tough one for the Democrats.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah.
This is Trump AI attack. It's a video. I'm not going to play the whole video because we don't find it meets our standards or is newsworthy. But I want to show, before I show Jeffrey's response, what he put up. It's basically this ridiculous, hateful, kind of bigoted, doctored image. In the video, he has the politicians saying things they don't really say. So we're the news. We're not going to tell you what it is because it's false. We have that standard. But Jeffries felt moved to respond. This is new. Here's what he said to the president.
The next time you have something to say about me, don't cop out through a racist and fake AI video. When I'm back in the Oval Office, say it to my face. Say it to my face.
The leader saying, keep that same energy when you see me.
Yeah.
What do you think of that response? And what is the challenge? And I am not gassing you up when I say that you have experience on both sides. You've done the traditional news thing for a long time. That's how a lot of people know you. You're out on the internet where we know you got to be a little looser and you got to deal with things. You can't just say, oh, I would never touch that, right? Yeah. So what do you think of how Democrats deal with this kind of growing Trump AI attack and that energy?
Well, that was a racist, AI attack. The mariachi band, you heard that, and then the sombrero or whatever, and then, it's bad. What I like is that, I don't have to be a little bit out there. I don't have to pretend anymore. I don't have to sit around these tables and pretend like this is normal. Like, how do we have a normal conversation about something that's not normal? What Donald Trump is doing, if you watched him today in Quantico, it's not normal.
No.
So what do you do about the AI generated? That just shows you the ridiculousness of all of this. It shows you how immature this administration is. The fact that Donald Trump or whoever is in charge of whatever department would allow people to post something like that, or he would post something like that, really, not only does it show you the ridiculousness of it, but it takes away any argument of some sort of legitimacy to what they're doing, how they're doing it, and conduct. We're in a whole different territory. So, being out there now on streaming, speaking the truth, I'm loving it because, again, I don't have to pretend like,
Yeah.
hey, this is, let's sit around and talk about what Donald Trump is doing. It's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and these platforms allow for something very different, which we've seen in the politics moving there. The big tech titans are still settling with Trump at the higher level. Here's Google, YouTube, paying
25
to settle this lawsuit.
4.5.
This was over something they did consistent with their practices, which was after a violent insurrection, they suspended an account associated with that effort. Happened to be Donald Trump's account.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you go to jail, but they have these policies. They applied it. Now they're backtracking on that. And then you look at what Trump is doing, his sort of enemies list in the media, trying to censor Kimmel, going after other individuals, and the lawsuits where it is working in court. Kimmel's one where you see they went from suspended to reinstated. How do you view all of this, given your experience?
Well, everybody has a terms of service. That's what they call it, right? When you sign up for these sites. Even you working here, you have a term of
we have
service.
standards
right?
and practices.
You have standards and practices.
Sure.
You have to conduct yourself in a certain way. These platforms are privately owned platforms, and they can say, this is how you have to conduct yourself, and if you don't, we can kick you off. And Donald Trump didn't conduct himself properly. Donald Trump inspired an insurrection. Donald Trump gave misinformation. Inspiring an insurrection, giving misinformation, saying horrible, racist things, all of those things are evidence and that can be used to kick someone, suspend them, or get them permanently barred from a platform. And so Donald Trump did all of that. The only reason I believe that these folks are caving is because they don't want their business interfered with in Washington. They want their mergers and acquisitions.
You think they did follow their terms fairly?
Of course they did.
Anyone, forget ideology, someone who happens to identify as a Democrat who did those violations would also be booted. And you're saying it's just corruption from the administration.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm on YouTube. I have to conduct myself a certain way. I can't say the R word. I have to say grape sometimes so that the AI doesn't pick it up and think that I'm,
Potentially doing something relating to crime,
wrong.
sure.
You have to be very careful on some of these things. You can't say, you have to say unalived or any of those things because the AI is so sensitive that they have AI monitoring it to make sure that you're not promoting anything that's violent.
And they would say they're erring on the side of trying to do something good. For example, if somebody is worried about influencing people who might take their own life, they don't want that video up for days. They want to stop it before it starts.
All right, as it relates to free speech in this country, the one thing is that if it promotes violence in any way, then it's not considered free speech.
Yeah.
Someone inspiring an insurrection, that a violent takeover of the Capitol, trying to change the outcome of an election, spreading human excretions on the walls of the Capitol, stealing things out of lawmakers' offices, threatening to hang the vice president. That is inspiring or inciting violence. So, I think they were well within their terms of service.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I guess I do know why. Is that YouTube is a business. It's not, under the FCC's,
It's not under that purview, but there's a heck of a lot of other pressure.